Oh, damn it. I'm muted again. I hate this shit. Hey, yeah, hang on until we get everybody here, huh?
I'm already live.
Oh. Well, hi.
Worked, didn't it? Sort of.
Sort of, kind of. I liked it.
I just putting stuff together that I had on file. Well, welcome. 2017. I'm in Missouri. We're getting iced under. Big ice storm headed our way. Ugh. But it's going to be a great year.
I'm in Louisiana, 76 degrees. Debating on wearing shorts out tonight.
Rob, let's hear it. What's your weather like? Rob is silent. Hell, Rob might not even be here.
No, he's there. He's just very low. Rob, your mic is low.
You can hear him?
Ah, now I hear you.
Nope, I think that's James here. Hey, James, how's it going? What's your weather like?
Hey, it is I think it's about 12 degrees. Let's see. Minus 11. Minus 11 degrees Celsius.
There in Alberta?
Yep. Yeah.
I hear you, Rob. Are you not hearing Rob, Josh?
I don't hear. Uh-uh.
What in the heck? All right, I think we need to restart it then. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're hearing him.
Hey, guys, you hear me?
Yeah, I
Guys,
hear you fine.
I got a job for us. A first job. I got it.
We're live.
Yeah, we are live, James.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, I got a job.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
There you are, Rob.
What about now?
Now I hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
What are you doing here, James?
I came because there's this one Australian guy that really he gets off his game when I'm around, so I thought I'd show up today. To fucking make sure he wasn't so slick because he's got that big camera advantage now, you know. Fuck me, I gotta do something.
I was taking shots of the moon last night, and it was all yellow. I had it coming just up over the horizon, but I can't get those star shots. It won't. I don't know what settings I've got to use to get the star shots because it won't. I just can't. Adam seems to be able to just focus in on them, and he just takes them. I can't. Mine goes all. It's trying to let in too much light, and it just won't work. So,
I
Check out that
remember.
article. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I remember reading the manual for yours, and it is apparently quite complicated to set the exposure for that. But there's a guide for it. So
yeah, I've tried to read it. Remember, I'm a newbie.
Yeah, it's really all about the
detail.
ISO and how fast your shutter speed is. You know,
I changed the ISO to 3.2, and that didn't make any slicker difference. So
let me
I'll just go back
see.
to the shop again.
Yeah.
Let them set it up because what I saw last night was Sirius. I focused in on Sirius, and it was twinkling,
dude,
and it was very, very similar to Venus when I focused in on that one, but the only difference was it was flickering and changing sort of color. And when I first focused in on it, I reckon it was colorful as well. It had a fair few colors in it,
like reddish.
Yeah, reddish and greens and all sorts of stuff in it.
Do you know that? Do you know that the elite people? Well, you hear us say them and they, but the people that are in control actually worship that star. There's something to that star that you're filming there. You know? Have you ever heard of that before?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sirius.
Yeah.
The dog star.
Yeah.
So,
Try
Josh,
setting your ISO at about 800 and try your shutter speed at about 1/60 or so. That's what I
Okay.
do on my phone, and it works on a
Okay.
cell phone pretty quick.
Yep. And the other thing with this camera too is I'm finding it's the battery life isn't very long at all. I tried to download my photos from last night just then, and the camera didn't want to know anything about it. And it's done this before. All I do is go and recharge it, and then bang, she works. So I don't know what's going on.
I've heard to help that problem, if you can you charge it and then transfer someone else, and be very careful with the power cord too. They said they're quite unique.
Yep.
Cool.
Enough of that. Josh, you had that you were going to start up today.
Yeah, I actually, while we were waiting for John to see if he could show up and get his battle best ready, I wanted to talk about Iron Realm Media. I wanted to talk about kind of how it is we came to be. Not individually necessarily, but as a group. Some of the stuff we had to get to where we gotten and where we go in the future.
Well, this will be a 6-hour show.
Well, this will be, at least. No. Josh, that's a great question. We've each got our own little story to that, I think.
Well, I didn't really want to get too much into the individual stories. Just get too in depth here. We'd save that.
Yeah, that'll be a 25-hour show, right?
We kind of have to keep that out week by week and do one at a time. I think it'd be the best way to do that.
Yes, sir.
So I guess maybe just if you could do a real quick, brief overview on how you woke up, I guess maybe everything that happened right before Iron Realm Media started to form. Whoever was first, we could take this order in the order of chronology, which would put me dead last because I'm the newbie.
Yep.
Well, I know we all were out on Twitter doing our thing. That's kind of how we found each other. We just all took notice of each other's work, if you will, on Twitter and kind of started talking to each other in direct messaging and slowly but surely kind of grouped together. But as far as a chronology, I really don't remember how far back this thing's been going anymore. I mean, Rob and James and John and I have been hanging tough with this for how long, guys? Going on a year and a half, 2 years?
Well, I'd have to say, I mean, the first person I remember actually seeing was John's account. And then, we just started getting into each other's circles, kind of retweeting, looking at stuff. And then the beauty, what I would like to remember is, I think it was Josh who got us on the Hangouts. That's when things really, I mean, when we started connecting as individuals and learning a little bit more about who we are and where we are and what we do, was really when we started saying, shit, let's have a kick at this. Well, that has
to go to Josh for sure. He came in here and got all us old Twitter heads onto this whole new platform here, and we started actually getting to know each other as real people. So, that's all Josh.
Josh followed me, and he said something about his radio show. So I went and had a listen to his radio show, and as soon as I heard that, I knew he'd be a good little addition. That's why Josh is there, I'd say.
Yep.
Having radio experience, I thought he'd be great for the podcast. That's what we were planning at that stage. But we all got together because of Yish. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, pretty much. I was going to say that. Yeah.
Yish made a room, and we all got together. So thanks, Yish. You're a turncoat.
Yes, Yish for true.
Yes.
But on Twitter, who claims to be a baller now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the retweets last night too.
Well, that isn't that the irony of it, but it just lends you to say, I mean, he might have stuck us in the first room, But we also carried through the tradition of having rooms, and we always maintained our group.
Well, if I remember correctly, he got us started in that room and then he disappeared. And it was pretty much us guys, us four. And remember Donald Stott? He was
Yep.
doing the graphics work. I still have those graphics saved. There was a lot of other guys that were in that first group that were doing the work. He may have got it together, but he disappeared and then came back allegedly because he had been sick. I'm sure he was working one of his other accounts at that point.
Either way, we got to tip the nod to that. It's funny how the things work, eh?
Yeah.
The worst ends up starting something because of their arrogance. Anyways.
Could make him an unofficial member of Iron Realm Team.
Right?
The Hall of Shame.
Our founder.
He's definitely
brass bust in the lobby and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Well, he keeps on talking about wanting to debate people and this and that, but he won't accept our challenges.
He will not come on our show, no sir.
Well, I mean, unless, to be fair, he will come on, I heard, but only if it's moderated by someone, not us, and only if it's pre-canned questions with pre-canned answers. So that's
kind of like
that's not
kind of like MSM.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny how he wants that format for his debate, but he has to go get his little wolf pack to come gang up on us all on Twitter when we're all trying to get some stuff out to people that might be trying to wake up.
I've blocked them all. Well, I've blocked them all.
Yeah.
I don't block anybody. I'll take them to the end. Man, I'll sit there and tweet those dudes and get 15 new followers. I'm fine with it. That's one of my flat earth perks.
Yep.
I would like to say thank you because this has been a really big deal for me in the past year. I mean, it's been so time consuming in trying to get this together. But it was, I guess, probably in February when I started going on the local radio station here in St. Louis. So probably by the end of the month, I decided to get a Twitter account to connect with the listeners there. And I guess that's when you guys saw me, and I was invited to join the guys on Twitter to do a podcast. Yeah, damn, that was back in February, damn near a full year ago.
Jeez. We got to give a hats off to Mike, a PTSD artist, and Hacksaw, all the guys that
Hacksaw
had a real big
Cal for truth.
Cal's our man.
Oh, that's our man. I wish he was here.
Yeah, no, he's studying, but no, we got to thank everybody. There has been a lot.
There's a list. We need to make that list for a future show, or at least have it somewhere on the site.
I've
got it all documented here and there.
Where's our feature? Where's the feature? Is he gotten the bus ready still?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
Yes, he's rebuilding the bunker.
Oh man, I'm actually, for the record as well, rebuilding my porch as a studio. So it's going to be a great place to work and do the radio show for IRM and the Fringe. It's going to be awesome.
In other words, you've been kicked out, James. Just say it how it is, mate.
Well, dude, do you know how many activities I could do out here?
So many activities.
Is that a yes, Rob?
We don't want to hear about your neighbors will dob you in for it if you do that, eh?
I'm going to soundproof this baby so I can cuss at you all the way from Canada.
So, yeah.
All right. So, did everyone understand John's video? Because it is quite hard to understand what he was trying to achieve. So, yeah, is everyone up to they know what he was trying to achieve?
I think so. With the table turns, I think. I don't.
Well, he had
don't know.
He had the 24-hour clock. It'd be good if he comes on very, very shortly. But he had the 24-hour clock that will do one revolution under the gyroscope. And he was saying to all the people that bagged him out on his last video that the bearings and friction and everything would be too sensitive, and it would turn. So that just shows that the gyro was staying still, but the main part of the gyro was turning with the clock, but the other part was staying absolutely dead still, which shows that it wasn't moving at all under the clock either.
So this was debunked.
Yeah, it was a bit of a reaction to all the criticism that he was getting for the first one, because everyone was saying that there'd be friction that would would not allow that thing to turn or however he's bloody. Yeah, so no, I had a good think about it.
Yeah,
No,
I thought it was brilliant.
yeah, I think I got it. Because in his first video, it showed that the gyroscope stayed level and nothing was moving. And they were saying that's from the bearings and everything was keeping it from moving. That if it were a really more sensitive gyroscope without these bearings, that it would move and it would show them. And John says, no, it wouldn't.
The motor as well. He's got the motor attached to it. That's when he spins it up, he's got that motor turning it full time. That would cause it a problem, but obviously that didn't either. But he's still getting bagged out for this. He goes, no, if you don't understand the gyros, if you don't understand how they work, which most people don't, because they just think gravity pulls them to the earth no matter what position they're in. They're always going to pull. And if you can't get that out of their heads, then they won't understand. It's as simple as that, and it's really, really frustrating because I talk to a lot of people about it. And they don't get it. They don't understand that gyro should.
You got to know when to fold them.
No
one to hold them and no one to fold them with the blowbers. Otherwise, you run the risk of running yourself out. But
James, you got to remember that these, if they're 50 years old, they've been thinking it's a globe for 50 years, and there's no way in hell that they're thinking it's flat. There's no way in hell.
No, I know. I have it.
And all they think is, why is it not moving? Because it's a ball, but why isn't that moving? So they're coming up with other excuses. So you can't blame them for that, John. You can't blame them for that. It's just that we've going back to where we all started. We needed that kick along with other
untruths.
That's right. We needed that, and you couldn't start. It'd be very, very difficult to start with flat Earth. It'd be very, very difficult.
Well, maybe that's where I'm going wrong, because even my own dad, right? I can't remember the exact argument, but it was a one-time deal. Like, he's like, son, James, I've flown in a Concorde. I've seen the horizon where the space meets the sky. Like, you're wrong. But he won't even talk about it because he's actually went up there, and my first thing was like, oh yeah, but you saw it through a tiny Concorde window, and what exactly did you see? But it was just even the experience, because you probably heard from the pilots that at 60,000 feet you're so close and you can see the shape or the curve. Like that's never gonna break no matter what I do, and I'm his son. So yeah, I just have to let it go. I think I have to approach it with something else first. Maybe 9/11 is the one.
That's a tough one too, though. I have a friend of 20 years that has always been very deep, checking out some behind the scenes things, not necessarily quite a conspiracy realist like we all are, but definitely questioning some stuff. And he still refuses to think there's even any possibility that his own government would somehow be involved in 9/11. So that one's a tough one too. I mean, it's the person. It just depends on what their level of cognitive dissonance is going to be, what they'll accept and look past, or what they're going to be just completely stamping their feet, dragging their feet, refusing to even consider as a possibility.
Well, there's only two people that I talk to, really, and they talk back, and we actually talk conspiracies, and that's my manager, and the other one's the cleaner that comes in all the time. And both of them, I was talking conspiracies with both of them before this come up. One of the manager, he's a sort of a Clementine. You heard of Clementine?
Yep.
He loves that, and he loves the Egyptian, the pyramids and all that sort of stuff. That's what he loves. So his mind is sort of already moved over. So he will actually sit down and listen to things that I've got to say. He can't get the gyros, but mind you, like that. But if you get a newbie and you want to start with this stuff, it's nearly impossible. I'm thinking. And I can't blame him for that. You can't blame him for that either.
What's the most obvious like historical? I don't know. We went through this before, but because the age group right now with boomers and that age, they're also nuts into space, and it's really hard to get somebody over 46 right now to believe that it's faked. I'd say because it's so ingrained.
Right. Space is cool, man. You got to stay
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Well,
and they
Walt, you're about 70, aren't you?
I'm 75 this weekend, sir. 75. Fucker.
yeah. Oh, it's about time to take your retirement trip to the ring of Antarctica.
Right. I'm heading out. You'll hear it next year. Walt died.
Yeah,
Elevator.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, strange days.
May
eh?
25th? Is that when it is? Oh, May 28th. That's when it is. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we need to
It's
find.
hard to just jump off onto flat Earth. Everyone I've talked to in real life about it has been people that I already knew were really deep into conspiracy ideas and were willing to look at some outside things. And some of those people have actually come pretty far with it. Some refuse to even look at it. And some have literally not spoken to me since about a year and a half ago now.
Well, maybe, and a big shout out to our friend and someone who comes on the show regularly, Richard Kalberg, author of The Narrow Gate, I believe, on WordPress.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I should just send my blog his blog over to my dad and say, hey, start at the first thing, anything about sound. Start with sound. You might learn something. Yeah, I'll try that. My dad is just that stubborn. He might just want to read about mechanical engineering and energy stuff first. So I'll try that.
Everyone has a hook. You just have to find it.
Mm.
I've been watching a few 9/11 videos lately, just for bits and giggles, just to sort of recap on a few things. There's a couple of new videos out there, but I watched one yesterday about. It's in my timeline if you want to go back in there. It's about the cameras. There was a camera crew taking photos of the World Trade Center, and what they did, they hired people to get onto the 91st floor, and the 91st floor was cleared out. Does everyone know this story already?
Not at all.
No, sir. No.
So they got all these 20, 30 people. They hired them just for 5 minutes, and they took a photo of them from a helicopter. Them sort of pressed up against the glass in a window, and it dead set looked like one of those jumper photos. Really,
That's wild.
yeah. And yeah, so they took maybe 20, 30 photos, maybe more, well, probably more, because they would have took photos of each person, lots and lots and lots of them, trying to get good shots. But that's what they look like. When they finished, they look like jumper photos. They look like the people who were trapped there. That's exactly what it looked like. That's what this bloke was getting at, who made the video too. But that's what it looked like. And so on the 91st floor, I'm pretty sure I think the plane hit just above that, I think, in that first tower. So, but they all look, once you've zoomed in, they all those floors look the same, don't they? You wouldn't be able to recognize one floor to the next if you were zoomed right in. But yeah, I thought that was very, very interesting.
It is, and I actually I'm not going to do what we always do, struggle to search for it, but I found something interesting 9/11 myself this week, and maybe it's just new to me, and maybe you've heard of it, but so in tarot cards, there's a card called the Tower, and if you look at the card, it's actually a recreation almost of it's the lightning bolt hitting the tower and cracking it in half. And then it's got the people falling out of the burning tower. And then it's got there's one picture, I swear, that one picture of the jumper who looks like he's in a straitjacket with his leg.
Mm-hmm.
If you put the card of the hangman beside him, you can see it's just a recreation of an old occultic tarot card based around the tower. And that was new to me, so it's always good to learn new things. I was like, no way. Come on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I have the picture. I'll put it up in a second, but it's quite interesting.
But yeah, going back to where we started, that's what started me off. When I saw Building 7. So once you see that, once you see Building 7 fall over, if you're any sort of mentally competent person and you see that building falling down, you know that wasn't normal falling down building footage. And if you're asleep after that, then you've got a problem. Go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep. Yes, sir. Yeah. Building 7's pretty much the, smoking gun for the whole thing to me, especially the way they announced it had already fallen on live TV and it's standing in the distance behind her in the shot. You've seen that footage.
About the asbestos in the building. Well, that was like
Oh, yeah.
I watched Dr. Judy Wood do a presentation the other day, and she said that was bullshit, the asbestos part of it. They built the first building, 40% of the first building. I think it was about 1971 when they realised asbestos was no good. So they ripped all the asbestos out of that first one and then built the rest of the 2 buildings with no asbestos. That's what she reckons.
Just sent a picture of my new find on 9/11 this year, or actually late last year, which is the fact that those middle floors had absolutely nothing in them. If you look at the picture there, Josh, and share it with everybody, the fact those middle floors were completely empty just blew my mind, especially when there's that theory out there that all the towers and all the radio towers and all the pylons for the electric lines are all gathering energy per free energy and Tesla and that kind of thing.
Well, it was definitely
basically the buildings were built to be destroyed in their big sacrifice on 9/11 ritual. Another interesting thing, I don't know how many cities wound up with these, but in Lafayette, where I visit quite often here in Louisiana, there is a monument that is made of some of the pieces of the actual metal from inside 9/11, from World Trade Center when it happened. And from what I understood, those got sent around to cities around the country, which is really morbid and bizarre to me. Other than all the rest that got shipped off and destroyed in China, melted down instead of being examined forensically like it should have been.
Well, let me say this. Think about it, because I just learned something on a conversation we were having the other night. Flat Earth Ted. Wouldn't it make sense if it was a big ritual and it was a big event that had all kinds of objects used for the spell, that you would want to take pieces of the remains of that spell and spread them around to give power to all the rest of the places?
Maybe so.
Never thought about that one.
Interestingly enough, Lafayette was nominated as one of the happiest cities in America not too long ago, which to me just means it's full of sheep.
You're taking your happy pills down there.
Because if you're happy in this world right now, looking around and not just running in loud screams trying to wake people up, you're definitely asleep.
Rob, check out those pictures. I sent them, Josh. You can put them up for us if you can. Just another thing that, that's what I love about this. You think you know everything, and then another week or another day, with each day as you are awakening, as our famous Josh put it, we're not woke, we're always awakening. But the more and more you awaken, the more you look at stuff, you learn more. It's amazing. I didn't think I could learn more, but yet here we are learning more.
Yeah.
You'll see these pictures here. There's just the tower.
Yeah. You're muted.
Oh, and then you got the other one of the see there. That's the one. Interesting,
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
All those tarot cards. That, I'm not sure what game that is. But there's a lot of the
No,
But,
that's the original like old.
Oh yeah, tarot
fortune
cards and
cards.
Illuminati game are two different things, for
yeah,
sure.
well, yeah, that's what I meant. What
Hmm.
there's a lot of similarities in there in those Illuminati games.
Well, it's all a game. It's all a game they've been playing for a long time, and we're just pieces in their game. That's what people need to understand.
Or they're recreating their events, right? And by their cards, they're recreating what they believe is sacred, right? But anyways, going back to how we all got here and stuff. Josh, you were the first guy to motivate our team, like our actual core guys, into getting a battle bus, a little room, a studio, a green screen. I got to thank you for that, man. Because
Well, that's the guy because I was invited because you guys were wanting to put together a podcast, and I thought, well, that's really great because
Well, that's what I said to you, Josh, and that's once you said to me that you wanted to be you were doing that radio show. I said, would you be? I thought, well, you'd be perfect because you see how it's done in the first place. But I was wrong because you've just taken so long to get this going. So maybe I should have gone with someone else.
Yeah.
But,
I could have told you that.
when did you get that camera, Rob? Merry Christmas.
Because I thought I was into a project that was already sort of on the ground and running. So I was trying to figure out how to hit that moving target.
But it wasn't. We told you we were getting in on the ground floor, but we gave you a shovel in real life.
Right.
But
Question to the group was, all right, sweet, what kind of microphone do I buy? And I got all kinds of responses, not realizing that no one else had bothered to buy a microphone because, there wasn't that much of a podcast yet.
Mostly being microphone. What's that?
But yeah, so from then it was just a matter of, all right, well, let's just see what we could come up with. And everything was grassroots and everybody drops out. Fuck you, Google. Ugh.
I'm here though. I'm listening. Go.
Makes me crazy. So yeah, it was all just kind of a thing. Well, we need a logo. Let's see what we can come up with.
That's 3.
All right. Well,
right.
Logo work. We can have some graphics.
Shout out to my brother for the logo work for sure, and for the early website help. Him and Cal got us started on that.
That was just it. Once we kind of of what everybody was bringing to the table. Once we started, we can do this. We can do this. And I can try to do. I'll make an attempt, and well, here's my draft. Here's a copy. Here's my submission. Let's see what this is worth. Everybody
jumped on hard with everything, man. Everybody started jumping on with name ideas and logo ideas and format ideas. We have quite a lot of creative talent in this group of people we've assembled.
If I remember correct, Walt, it was a hybrid of your and my name suggestions that ended up with the realm. And then it was Josh, that was the genius, that put the FE in there and linked it all together as the egg.
Yes, sir.
You remember, Walt? I didn't want anything to do with this part of it.
Yes, sir. I do remember. You didn't even want to come and talk to us at first.
Just
on Hangouts.
He wants to take the pictures. He wants to do the legwork.
No, I just didn't think. Well, I was a hillbilly, redneck.
You have heard me talk, right? You've heard me talk.
Yeah, Rob was so worried about a good accent, bringing the whole show down, and we don't care. It's okay.
You do know, like, Crocodile Dundee was a huge movie here in America, right?
Never heard of it.
Steve Irwin ring a bell?
Nah.
Oh, he was huge in Kyrgyzstan.
I've heard of Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah. Good old Billy Ray. Some gave all. All gave some.
So I got an out of field question. Who do you think is the next celebrity to go away to the outer ring and take retirement?
Should we put bets on it?
I would love to. I was watching an episode of this Canadian show named Mr. D, and they were doing a death pool on all the teachers, and it was just hilarious because one of the people in one of the chats, and they're like, we should take a poll. Who's going to bite it next? Who's the next death? And do we think the Queen's dead already? Thoughts?
I don't know. I sent those articles to John and Adam, since that's their homeland, to see if they had any thoughts on it, and they never really got back to me on it. That or the one where allegedly she was saying things about the kids being in danger, and another one that she allegedly was talking about the reptilians.
Well, here's the thing. Last year, she said that it was her last Christmas, or it would be the last Christmas. Do you remember that tape? Getting
I do
slipped
indeed.
out?
Enjoy your
Yeah.
last Christmas.
Yep. And it was like the staff at the BBC or at the place confirmed it, and like, so maybe she knew that she was going to die, or that she was getting moved or re-wrote out, and that's why that.
But ancient reptilians rarely die.
No,
Just saying.
just her body, her figure. She'll just go into something else. Maybe.
I just might put on the record that I'm not privy to any of that sort of stuff, and I don't know if I buy it at all. No, it's just too out there for me.
I get you. And it is out there. It really is. But if you start putting together some of the old tales of beings from somewhere else, doesn't necessarily mean they came from some fake space ball floating outside somewhere on another fake gas ball. This whole idea of lands beyond the ice ring, lands beyond Antarctica, other worlds that have been talked about. I mean, other continents that have been talked about historically, Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu. There's lots of records throughout lots of cultures about these places. So what if these beings are from out there and they are advanced enough to take advantage of some technology that we have no concept, that to us looks, for lack of a better word, like magic, to quote horribly Arthur C. Clarke.
That's pretty cool. I was watching a television show with my girlfriend. It was called Intruders. And basically it was a story of every body has two souls. And the souls and everybody gets kicked again.
I'm right here. Every time you talk, you kick everybody off. Quit doing that, man. If you want the floor that bad, Josh, we'll shut up, man. You don't have to kick us all out.
A couple different machines, maybe hosted on one machine.
Remind me, I have something to say about the reptilians after you're
We're
done.
pissing off the robots. That's what's wrong.
Robots.
The buzzwords are getting called in the filter.
Yeah, and it's like, kick that out.
So I don't want to give too many spoilers on the TV show Intruders. It was probably worth a watch. But basically, it was immortality for these souls and how they could basically die and come back if the soul itself could have the willpower enough in the afterlife to overcome the other soul for the body. Then that soul could just keep waking up and basically be immortal, an immortal soul in different bodies throughout time. It was a really interesting show. The Intruders, I think it was on Netflix.
I'll check that out for sure.
Check that out. Thanks, man.
So you attempt to say about the reptilians, James?
I did indeed. Another point to think of is we right away, as people have a huge cognitive dissonance towards hybridization and hybrids and that thing. So it's entirely plausible that there was also, or is, intelligent life, not from outer space, from anywhere else, but maybe from a hybridization program, half animal, half human, half something else, that is out there and that, is causing these things. And, like, I guess, intelligent halflings that, that's, I guess, what I'm saying, I believe is plausible.
I'd say it's definitely plausible.
They're working on some insane things with the Human Genome Project and allegedly just trying to, map our genetic code. but they're doing some pretty crazy stuff. It's all out there. I don't want to get into all that because that'll be a very downer show. But definitely, if you look into some of the genetic engineering that's going on, places like Dulce,
That's right.
check it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's out there.
Mount Herman facility, the UN. Check that one out.
What's the one in the Northeast United States?
It was in that movie with the Avengers or something.
So there's a little town in New Jersey, I think it was, called Lyme, and they first developed this strange disease.
Montauk?
No, it wasn't Montauk. It was an island, I think.
I'd have to look it up.
Well, this is where they were doing like the militarization of diseases and how to spread them throughout armies, and they were using like ticks, and they were infecting these ticks with these strange diseases so they could try to infest these armies and spread the disease through these strange ticks. And I guess one of these ticks got out and somehow found its way to this little town on the coast called Lyme, and that's where Lyme's disease first showed up. And this is why deer ticks. I wish I could remember the name of that damn place where they were developing Lyme disease. I'll find it. I'll just actually have to go to Google now that I fucked Google. Let's see.
Just manufactured diseases. That was a crazy story.
Well, you've got that show, there's a lot of truth in shows. But you remember years and years and years ago, they had that show, V. Remember that with the reptiles?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Didn't they have to drink rotten milk or something? Sour milk was like booze to them?
No, that was a different movie. That was James Caan and Mandy Patinkin, and the name of that movie was
The Insiders? No, I don't know.
No, come on, James. I'm trying to stump you.
I don't know. Well, give me another clue. I need another clue. I need years in 84.
Oh, it was 80s. It was 80s. James Caan, Tough Cop, Mandy Patinkin, Alien. Come on, that's like a giveaway.
Oh shoot! I now it's just in my. I do. I know it. Of course I do. I just can't think of the name.
That's the one they got drunk drinking sour milk.
Yep. Oh, it's gonna come to me. Well, what was it? Yeah, what was it?
You're muted, Walt. Everybody.
You muted, Walt.
Oh, every time I hit it, I guess I kept hitting it back twice. That was Alien Nation. Sorry, yes. Mandy Patinkin, James Caan. They actually had a little series about it too.
Yes, they did. That's right.
It wasn't as good as V to me. V was really good back in the 80s, and then they redid it recently, and it was not too bad.
Do you know what was not bad in the 80s, early 80s? Invaders from Mars. Not a bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, believable. Almost,
Enemy
It was good.
From the 80s.
Yes, sir. I used to make his voice, but I'm dry right now. I need something to drink.
Yes, all right. Well, what else are we going to talk about?
What?
Well, we're trying to stay off John's video till he gets here, but he must be having some trouble.
Mm-hmm. We talked about what's going to happen with the transition.
In like 3 or 4 days, right.
Is there anything starting to happen in any of the cities? I guess we'll see more. The
only thing pretty crazy that I've seen was a presentation, a video, which I can send here in a minute, on the fact that for the first time ever, Obama created an exit team that is probably 3 or 4 times the size of his cabinet while he was sitting president. Pack your bags and go is not really that complicated. It's not that necessary to build a team to do it. And part of his team are members of FEMA, members of Homeland Security, lots of stuff about potential this, maybe that. emergency this. It sounds like they're setting something up. Really, truly, it does.
An emergency task force.
Something, some kind of false flag to call a big martial law thing to shut it down so Trump can't get in office and he gets to sit as King Obama.
Is there any truth to Josh that he's going for the UN? I heard that, but you can never tell. Have you heard it in the US?
Someone mentioned that in the chat room not long ago.
I've definitely heard that. How true that is, I don't know. I also heard he wasn't leaving the presidency. So,
yeah,
is that believing half of what, none of what you hear?
Yeah, yeah. These are just things I'm hearing over this last couple, 3 weeks. Lots of alleged predictive programming about
well, look at
Trump not even making it physically to the White House, you know?
Mm-hmm. What's the date today, gentlemen?
It would be Friday the 13th, full moon Friday the 13th, and some kind of Jewish thing happening historically, if I remember correctly, but I don't want to misquote a name.
You better not. I'm going to verbally shame you before you even bring it up. Because that's how we roll. No, you're right. It is. That's a big omen. We should do supernatural stuff today. Freaky Friday.
Well, there you go. My Friday the 13th is over, and I didn't even realize.
You made it.
Future boy made it.
I'll tell you what, that moon that I was photographing last night was a completely different color to the moons that I've been photographing all the other nights this week.
It's probably because it was leaving here through such a haze. I went out there to take some pictures, and it was just pure haze. I could see a big white blob in the sky, but I could not make out the moon. So it was just passing through a big, huge haze over us, getting to you. I was also going to redo my moonlight experiment last night, but there wasn't actually enough rays to create a shadow, so maybe tonight.
What color was it, Rob? Was it like a yellow, a creamy
yellow? Yeah, yellow. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think we've all seen a yellow moon before. Haven't you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Something to them, though.
So now I wish I had those. Yeah, that's what I tried to do this morning before I come on here, was download a couple of those photos, but my camera wouldn't allow me to, so... But I'll see if I can do it a little bit later.
So,
and Adam's taken some good shots too. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Yep. Yeah, Adam's taken some good shots too. So now I might just stick to island shots and mountain shots and all that sort of stuff. And moon shots, but yeah, the stars just don't seem to be working for me.
You'll get it. We just got to find the right settings for you. Yeah, with stars, it's a whole different thing. You want to have almost a moonless night if possible, so you don't get moonlight washing your camera, and then open it as wide as you can and leave the exposure as open as you can for taking a picture. Then if you're doing the trying to get the video effect of that cymatic thing, it's all about a little less open, a little faster speed, but you still want it pretty open. And again, this is just me playing around with my phone since I got it back in July, trying to take those same pictures. I can make them happen. They're just not very clear, and I get a lot of noise on the video because of it having to be digital zoom rather than the optical zoom that you have. But again, I'm not playing with that big bad boy like you are, so it may be a whole different game.
Yeah, there's just 1,000 settings on there, and the manual that it came with doesn't tell you anything. So I've had to go online and download the PDF for it. Now I'm going through that.
Watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, I know a trick that works, but it's just going to take a lot of time. Get yourself one of the school notebooks and a pen and start watching tutorials and writing stuff down. That way you got it in your own book and you always have it.
Yep.
Well, apparently it's not going to get rid of me today, so that's crazy. Everybody
really
keeps getting kicked off.
I don't know what the hell. But I will take this moment to say that Lyme's disease was found on the coast of Long Island, came from a place called Plum Island. And on Plum Island is the Plum Island Animal Disease Center run by the United States government. And there's been a few things that I think that have washed up on the Jersey Shore that I think they've thought maybe came from Montauk, the Montauk Monster, maybe. Some really strange things that have washed up on the shore that I think are probably coming from Montauk or from Plum Island, just based on what they're doing there and sort of the crazy dark history of what's going on. And it seems to me that Jesse Ventura might have even done one of his conspiracy shows on Plum Island.
And let me ask you this: is there a Freemason connection to that island as well? You just made me think of Oak Island again, and there's a Freemason connection there.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me. Being upstate New York in an island controlled by the United States government, what are the odds that it's not got some Freemason connections?
Highly unlikely that it doesn't.
Situated in Gardiner's Bay, east of Orient Point, off the eastern end of Norfolk coast of Long Island, Suffolk County, New York.
You know what the sad thing is? A lot of people are going to be in trouble. A lot of people are going to be in pain tonight because of just the date and what it means to certain cultures and what certain rituals and traditions are. I mean, I have a lot of knowledge on bloodlines, but that's nothing you want to talk about on the air. So if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me on Twitter or, just search blood murder.
Yeah, this is that time of year, and I guess even that time of month, I suppose, with the full moon on the Friday the 13th, where it doesn't usually bode well for some people. Things end very horribly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just all of us warriors have to send reinforcements. And being a warrior out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Darkness all around, but one thing that darkness, where it won't be found, is in the light.
All it takes
Indeed.
is light can penetrate an entire room full of darkness.
Isn't that the greatest, eh? The little tiny candle can light the entire cave.
Oh, it looks like Rob found us.
Yeah, I went and made myself a coffee.
Damn it, I thought you blocked him.
Ooh.
Can't stop me.
No.
One of our followers from Twitter, DD Tayside, says hello on the live chat. Hello, DD
Hey,
Tayside.
DD. What's up, man?
DD retweets some of my stuff, so he or she's on Twitter.
DD's awesome, and I'm just going to say again, we apologize for adding you to that chat without asking, but we'd love to have you back one day.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And love the things you do on Twitter.
And I see that we have 0 viewers right now, so I'll take this chance to say that if you want to get a hold of us, you can call us on our flat line, area code 503-304-FLAT. That's 3528. We're on Skype, Iron Realm on Skype. Give us a call. You call the flat line and we don't answer, you can leave a message, or you can even send us a text to that number. We get text messages there. You contact Iron Realm at any time.
So what would you guys, sorry, Josh, that was awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
We cover the whole realm, so there's usually somebody awake at all times.
Somewhere on the plane here, on the plane, one of us is usually awake.
I was just going to ask you, Josh, so what is Iron Realm? And what is Iron Realm Media? What is the Fringe? And what is Have No Sphere?
What indeed? Well, Iron Realm is the name that we came up with. Iron Realm Media is the all-encompassing name of the organization that we've created from this little Twitter group. Once we took an inventory of all of our capabilities and saw what we could possibly do and the potential that we had, we saw that a podcast wasn't enough and we needed to think bigger. So a podcast talking about flat Earth turned into what is now called Iron Realm Media. Now, the Iron Realm, because we live in a realm, we don't live on a planet. We can, some people credit quote to Tesla saying that Earth is not a planet, it's a realm. Whether he said that or not, I don't know. Somebody said it, obviously. So kudos to them, because that's a good fucking quote, regardless of who said it.
Right.
Amen.
The iron.
Amen.
Egg, because the periodic table of elements, the symbol for iron is Fe. And since we live in a flat Earth realm, an Fe realm, an iron realm just made sense. And since we do more than podcasts, we are Iron Realm Media. So,
Well
that being said,
and shout out to one of my followers, and I think a couple of you guys have him as well, Sag MacDeck. I don't know how to say it exactly, but yeah, he and I were going back and forth on some like etymology and words and things, and I believe he's the one that threw that back at me one time, the FE thing.
Kudos. Josh, going with what you said, I mean, on our other branches, it's going to be great to cover things like false flags and, media events in our fringe area of things. And it's awesome focusing on destroying this globe of the have no sphere side. So I look forward to continuing to work and build and grow as we go.
Yeah, I think there's lots of good things in store for us in the future.
That's the thing about flat Earth, for me anyway. I had been deeply into some conspiracy theories throughout my life and had thought I had uncovered a whole lot of things and knew a pretty good idea of how this world worked. And turns out I didn't have a clue about most of it. Even though I knew there was a lot of shenanigans in our government, I didn't know that it was all as big a charade as what I now know as the media sources we all used to trust is just a big show. So this alleged flat Earth psyop turned out to be the best psyop ever. For me, anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say that it's not a psyop, just the way that it was being presented on YouTube.
That's just another example of them underestimating us then.
I've been doing a lot of DMing with that dude, that Capstone or whatever his name is. Well,
right, Captain Scorch or something.
Yeah, whatever his name is, and he's I had a long conversation with him, and he's the perfect example of he's into the stars, and he'll never get it. I send him my video, and then he comes back with, that's a superior mirage or whatever. I can't remember what he said now. And then he sent me all those other photos of superior mirages, and he was trying to say that he was trying to say that my video is a proof of a globe Earth. And I went, what?
I know, I don't get that either. How a globe is supposed to refract
I shouldn't
things
be
in the air.
I said I shouldn't be seeing that at all. And then I sent him that angular video that I love. It's my number one video on what you shouldn't be able to see, and the superior mirages and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully you watch that. It's impossible to get through to some. It's impossible, and they would think that about us as well. That it's impossible for them to get through to us. No, but but I can see where they're coming from. especially with the stars, because for me, the stars.
Yeah, man, cognitive dissonance, I mean, some people just won't see it. They just will not see anything other than what they have read in a book or been told by a teacher and all their peer-reviewed bullshit. BS, sorry.
No, so now as I've said before, the sun and the stars and everything, they all make sense to me on a globe, but I know it's not. so maybe I'm, yeah. Who's that?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yes. So, we should get him on there. I'll even I'll text him now and see if he wants to join. Jeez, frogs.
Is that what the fuck that is? Sounded like some wicked echoing feedback shit. I didn't know what the hell.
Yeah, no, the technical issues continue. I think you're right, Rob. We need to find a new dude.
No, that was a frog in a drain that's right beside me.
What? We need to record that. Sample it and put it in the song, James.
That's funny you said that. I got a couple tunes made yesterday, and some of our upcoming work is going to feature my own original stuff as well as a real life buddy of mine, Stan. So shouts out to him and his music and our work.
Nice. I actually met a person in my life that I did not know was flat recently, and then yesterday I found out that person is also a musician. So he and I may be bringing some tunes your way, sir.
Excellent, excellent.
I'm your huckleberry.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Outstanding.
Somewhere I've got to have what's the other good line from that? You're a daisy if you do.
Yeah, Val Kilmer was a sickly looking bastard at the end of that movie, wasn't he? But he still wanted to fight. True story. That's okay, Corral, isn't it?
That's what they say.
Was the Wild West as wild as what they make out?
I suspect. Yeah.
I've heard little things that they've built it up to become a little bit more wild than what it really was. Pretty hard to imagine that civilized people would go around shooting each other like that, in plain sight all the time, and it's just hard to imagine.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't quite like that. I mean, just because somebody sees it portrayed 47 times in a movie, they think that it just happened all the time, because every time they think they see a movie about cowboys, that's how cowboys acted. So that's how,
like Billy the Kid riding into town and shooting every bastard. I don't know about that.
Goes deeper too. Not only that, you're programmed in your subconscious to think of it. What's the first thing you say before you talk about the West?
Wild.
Oh, people are getting shot everywhere. It's wild. It's wild.
What
I've been
about
watching game shows?
What about and I've thought about it a lot. What about in Braveheart days, where you're two enemies or opposing sides on hills, and then they run at each other and hit each other with axes and fucking swords and shit like that? Imagine.
I'll tell you, man. I'd be in the nights. I'd be in the night air, because there's some regality to it. If you have a dispute, a real
oh, really? Seriously, everybody went that time. Everybody. See, I knew it happened.
Roundhouse, finally.
That's ridiculous.
Full house.
And I've got a signal on my internet. There's
Yeah, Yeah, anyway, what was I saying? I was saying bloody Braveheart, bloody running each other with axes. Imagine the thoughts running through your head of me. Oh, fuck
This is
that.
one of my favorite subjects. Well, at least when you talk about the way I relate to it is um, that same old Prussian education. Prussia being one of the world's most undefeatable armies until it was finally defeated. I think it was a mercenary group from Prussia that Napoleon had hired. And I think they lost, and it embarrassed Prussia so bad. Prussia had to totally rethink how it created soldiers. And they realized they had to train them young. And Prussia would mandate that the parents turn over their children to be trained by the government for a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of days in order to create these perfect little soldiers or these perfect little workers for the state for this very ridiculously sized army. What they needed was obedience. All of their army, obedience in that battle with Napoleon. That's where we get the Prussian education system now. And Prussia did such a good job with their education, it molding the minds of the youth to make them good little slaves. That's how we have our public school education system we have now. It's all modeled from that Prussian system. So that's what's going through their mind is that's what they're trained to do. They don't think about it. It's mindless fucking action. When the teacher says stand and place your hand over your heart and pledge allegiance to that flag in the corner, you stand up and you do it. You don't think about it. You repeat it. You do it every day. So you don't think about it when they ask you to do it. That's the Prussian education system. So when you're in the army and they drill you and your commander says, okay, now charge, you fucking charge. You don't think about it. You just do it. It's military brainwashing. It's Prussian education system. It's all the same crazy bullshit. That's mind control brainwashing. That's the whole problem with everything around me. There, you guys wanted me to rant? I ranted.
I'm loving it, brother. Go.
That was fantastic. That was really accurate, man. Keep going. That is what's happening.
That's what I had to
Brilliant.
say.
But not only do they do that militarily, they do that consumer wise. They do that NASA science wise. We get indoctrinated the same way as kids, even younger sometimes. I think now because the parents are already so hooked that they're right in the womb. They're like, well, we've got to do this for the kid, and we've got to play this music, and we've got to do this. Like, give me a break.
In America, when you introduce this idea of individual sovereignty, of individual freedom that they try to preach in America to this Prussian education system, there is again that dissonance where the whole brain just says, well, this isn't working out. Why would I want to keep doing this? So they have to continually distract that part of the brain so the other part will continue to obey. So as long as they can keep them occupied with something, the other part will just continue to obey and they'll continue to just react without thinking. So that's where we introduce consumerism and sports ball and all this other stupid, mindless alcohol.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That's it. It's ridiculous.
Like I said earlier, there's a hook for everybody. If you have a scientific, calculative type, a mind that looks at that kind.
Better quit it.
Sorry, I'm having trouble with my sound here. If you have a mind that looks at things scientifically, then they'll catch you in that area and get you looking at the stars and get you caught up in scientism. If you're more that, like you said, the sports ball oriented person, then they've got a whole world of distraction for you there. My goodness, it's the national pastime, you know? So if there's something, if you're not that person that has that military mindset, they're going to have some distraction waiting in another direction for you to keep you sidetracked.
Well, that's how they catch you. And as John Savage once said, if he was here, it takes few to control many. And there's a lot of wisdom in that.
I was watching that 9/11 video, another one yesterday, and this dude went and went to a firefighters it was like a meet the firefighters in this particular city, and there's hundreds of firefighters there, and he went and asked them some questions about 9/11, and all of them were denying that it's a conspiracy, and that's what they're told to say. They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to bring it up. They're not allowed to talk about it, and that tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah. Must make them feel very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
Yeah.
One dude went to start talking about it, but his captain would sort of give him a look and, what are you doing? Well, and he shut up pretty quickly.
Really?
And there were a couple of girls that were asked, and one of the girls said, "Oh, no comment." She goes, "Thanks for asking, but yeah, no comment." No. And then they got. Oh, he asked a couple of firefighters in some other area, and they said, "Yeah, we talk about that all the time." Yeah, so it'd be, 300 of them died or something like that. You couldn't imagine they wouldn't talk about it.
That's
it'd be hard to. I don't know. How could you be, as a normal person, not talk about stuff like that? I don't care who I work for. If they did wrong, they wouldn't shut me up. No way. Who's to say that those firefighters aren't going to be in the next little planned event, and they've got to run into a burning building that's doomed? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's gonna be something.
But how will
it's coming?
They won't.
What was that, Josh?
How will they know until it's too late?
Usually getting smashed today. Yeah, who knows? That's right. They'll yeah. That's right. You'd be worried all the time, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. We're all getting smashed.
I know. I got back on for half a second and then got kicked right back off again. The last thing I heard was Rob was talking about 9/11.
Firefighters. Yeah,
oh yeah.
Firefighters. Yeah, the firefighters not allowed to talk. No matter where you go, I don't think they're allowed to talk.
We're going to be in that little area tomorrow of Lafayette where that monument or whatever is. I'll try to catch some pictures and send it to you guys. Find out how many there are all over the country too. I'd like to see them. We'll find out. Like, I'm sure there's information on the little plaque there that'll tell me.
Because there are lots of places. I mean, the one by my house there's probably one within 5 miles of my house.
I heard an interesting theory yesterday too on one of those videos with, how we got the architects and engineers for 9/11 and we've got the pilots for 9/11 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're all just controlled. Mm-hmm. They're there for people like you and me to think that there's something going on, because architects and engineers for 9/11 have always said that we want a new investigation, but nothing ever happens. They do their rallies. Not sure if they do paid rallies. So they're going around getting paid for doing what they're doing. I'm not sure. But they've been talking for, 10 or 11 years now that they want a new investigation, but nothing ever happens, does it? All these people are burning up. 50 or 60% of America knows that the buildings didn't fall down the way that they were told, but nothing ever happened. So this guy was saying that, all the people that you see getting interviewed, all the major ones, and there's a Rudy Dent, I think, is a firefighter, a dark firefighter that's retired now, and he does a lot of interviews. And what's his name? Richard Gage from 9/11 Architects. He does all these talks. So it's hard to believe that for 12, 13 years, and there's so many people, that they wouldn't do a new investigation. If you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. It does seem strange.
Yeah, there's all these people, doing all these rallies all the time, and we know how many people are, especially in America, not here.
Wow, there's still a big dissonance even in the U.S. I mean, look at people even get offended here when you say, "Oh, that didn't happen." And I'm Canadian, and we get people giving you flack. Imagine in the U.S. there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I'll fucking knock your teeth out if you tell me no people died." Like, you got to be careful still.
Oh, people died. Oh, well, what are you talking about there? You're not talking about 9/11. You're talking about other stuff, are you?
Yeah, a little 9/11. People still died, the unfortunate ones that actually were used. But, I mean, there was maybe 3-4 people in the building. I think all the deaths were ancillary, to be honest.
You think? So all the photos and all the names, they're all,
I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think the
I-
percentage is? Like, are we talking Holocaust things? Like numbers,
Well, out
How
of the
many-
3,000, I would say at least 1,500 to 2,000. That's what I'd reckon.
But a lot of
And then-
those are
Yeah, they had to
responders,
spill
right?
blood for their ritual. I mean, there were deaths, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And
But
lots of them.
Not like, oh, there was a.
I don't know. You couldn't knock 2 buildings down like that and not have lots and lots of casualties.
Well, if you see Walt's picture, though, you can have no casualties, especially if it's a gun that obliterates energy. But I don't know. All we can agree on, it's a bloody sacrifice ritual that was false.
PK's been getting right into this Fort Lauderdale one. You been looking at that at all?
Nope.
The Fort Lauderdale
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood airport shooting?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
That's a shocker as well.
They got the double actor.
It's a shocker. Yeah.
Yep. Every time I see that video, it gets pulled too. Somebody posts it. When you hit the link, it's not there.
All right. Who made that one?
I'm not sure who made it. The first time I saw it, somebody had posted it in the chat, and I went and watched it, and then I reposted it, and then someone said, your tweet's going to an empty link, and I went to it, and the video wasn't there anymore. So I found it again and reposted it, and same thing, link not there. So they keep pulling it with that chick that's sitting down, and then they all get up and go to another location right as the camera gets off of them, and then they interview her later with a jacket on, and you can see the same shirt and all that stuff.
All right.
And so people are saying, oh, well, that's just a different interview later at a different location, blah, blah, blah. Well, why would they do the same person if all these hundreds of people are, there for options to interview? And it just doesn't make any sense, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
And then there's another video that I saw earlier today that apparently from one of the bombings in Syria or whatever, and they show all the people getting up and showing peace signs at the camera after the news cameras cut off. They're all doing their good little job as making the propaganda against America.
There's quite a few of those if you look.
Yeah.
Mm.
But, you show that to people and they're just sitting there watching nightly news every night, getting more and more programmed. I just don't understand anyone watching TV and thinking it's real in any way, any of it.
I like watching TV
Hashtag
when I know
good
it's.
TV.
I like watching TV when I know it's not real.
Oh, I do too.
You don't have to even think about it. You just watch. The news. You can't watch the news and think it's serious.
No, not at all.
Oh my gosh! This morning, my lady was showing me something she was watching on CNN today. Hilarious! It was Trump's manager, that Kellyanne Conway, and she was just bashing what's his name, the little robot that with the neat hair and all the weird eating habits. Sorry, that sounds really judgmental, but God, what's his name? Anderson Cooper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That's the one I
man.
saw earlier.
Dude, and he's just like ba 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 ba, and she's like, "You're an idiot." Like,
Yeah.
it was great. It was
It was
funny,
great.
but it's fake. I mean, it's still all part of the shit show, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's been a few in the last week or 2 weeks, isn't there? There's been a number of them. You can't keep up with them. Yeah, it's been very interesting.
How does that website get on the television?
Love it. Hashtag kill your TV.
Hashtag
So what's been going on, James?
Oh, nothing much, man. I've been doing a bunch of research on some other things for my medical conditions, trying to find alternatives to what these stupid big pharma doctors want to shove down my throat, which that's a whole show, I mean, in its own. But I wish John was here because it's
Definitely need
just
to cover that topic. Yes, sir.
ridiculous how much. I'm actually thinking about starting a blog, maybe chronicling how the stages of ridiculousness are, where even a country like Canada that's pretty liberal and like laid back, they have such a fierce ingrained knowledge. I don't know if they pick it up in college or when they become doctors to get you on fixing it short term, like short term solution for big problems. So it's really disappointing. And I have to start looking at other methods and other ways to, handle it, because I can't imagine. It was actually my girlfriend my lady that said something so smart to me, because a couple of my close friends have dealt with pain for many years as well and have been on the whole run of it. And now what works for her is taking these there's cortisol, and then it's like a cocktail of drugs. And she gets it injected into her back, and it works from anywhere from 3 months to 14 months, right? So I was looking at that, and then another friend I know on the realm here, he knows somebody that gets these injections, and then, yeah, they can work anywhere 2 months to 15 months, right? So I'm just, thinking about it, and I'm like, all right, well, what the heck, maybe it is better than like not taking pills and not doing, the organic medical route. And my girlfriend, she looks at me and she goes, you want to take something that's going to sit in your body and work for fucking 14 months? What kind of half-life you think that has? What kind of medicine are you going to put in that works for 14 months? That's a pain reliever. I wouldn't do it. And I was just like, oh, good point. So you got to be real careful with it, is what I'm finding.
Agreed. Yes, sir. There are lots of things that are options that you might want to definitely dig into a little deeper before you go letting yourself be treated by doctors. Because unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, they are just creating a patient for life. That's their objective. If you get cured, you're gone. If you figure out how to cure yourself, you won't be back through their doors. You are no longer part of their income flow. So let's fix the symptom and create new symptoms that we can fix later, and you'll be a patient for life.
Right, the business model is repeat customers.
And they get guilt shamed into not repping the meds anyways, because half of those companies gave them a car or perks or sponsored them coming up right out of college, right out of high school, right into med school. So it's a unfair system, that's for sure.
Hey, watched a Jaren video yesterday about the curvature of the students in Leicester in America and in Britain sent up a weather balloon. Did you see that video? It's only 20 minutes long. See that one?
No, I did not.
Anyway, and it's all over the papers in Britain with students show curvature of the Earth from this balloon. If you go onto the video, because they've got a video, obviously they've just taken the stills of the curvature of the Earth. They get up to 70,000 feet with this balloon, and the curvature is about the same as what the ISS shows. But if you go to the video and click on the video, the exact same curvature is there when they're taken off on the balloon. it's just pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pathetic, you know.
That's
And obviously, the papers put in the stills of the 70,000 feet shots, you know, and they say there's the curvature of the Earth.
Now, see, we need to go after the school. That's bullshit. I mean,
Mm.
where is the integrity? Where's the intellectual integrity?
Yeah, that's right.
There is none.
That's a
Have you ever-
university. That's a university putting that shit out.
Have you guys ever seen, I'm sure you have, the video from a few years back where they were showing how a boat disappearing over the horizon from the hull up shows the curvature, and it's a camera set up on the beach, and someone goes in and analyzes this video, and you can see how they've waited for waves to hit, and the height of the camera changes 2 or 3 times, and the angle of the waves change 2 or 3 times, so they're creating the effect with the camera and the waves. And this was put out by UCLA. You know, this is a university video that's proven the curvature, fake in the video. So yeah, there's no integrity in the education system for sure.
No, you know, Jaron puts out some good videos like that, you know, and he puts out some good stuff, and I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, you'd think the students would actually. You think the students might even say that's wrong, but the university puts it out.
Well, I know what happens in elementary school. The students say, "No, that doesn't sound right," and they just, "No, honey, look at the textbook. Look up at the board."
I think it's elementary school or university students. I think they're fed this idea that they're going to put this balloon into space to find the curvature. So that's what they're focused on. So that's what they're looking for. That's what they find. That's what they've done.
For me, and I've said it for a long time, I believe that you should be able to see the curve. If you've got a full horizon to look at, you should be able to see the curve. Because if you've got a full horizon, say that's 30 or 40 miles from left to right, 30 or 40 miles
Horizontally, Rob?
Yeah, horizontally. If you've got a point right in front of you and you go 20 miles one side and 20 miles the other, 20 miles is 200 feet.
We'll just shoot the top of it.
So from left to right, you should be seeing 200 feet to if you're looking straight in front of you. That's just how it is. So it should be noticeable in photographs, especially in photographs, just from a beach. That's the way I look at it. You shouldn't have to go too high to really, really noticeable. It shouldn't be.
Well, I mean,
but you need a full horizon.
Well, you can use
the
the panoramic doesn't have the fisheye distortion, and you could
that's
probably could get. How far wide could you go? You think 60K? Maybe you could do it with yours. Instead of measuring the no curve vertically, we should look at doing that. We will actually. Interesting.
It's hard to. I have islands in the way everywhere where I am. I can't get a good.
No, I love that. That's what I'm thinking. You get two that are on either end, and you shoot in between them, and you should see a curve, but there won't be.
Yeah. You agree with that, Walt, or not?
Absolutely. As I lived in Florida when I was about, I guess, 10, 11, something like that. And we used to go on like the Keys down below Florida, and you would be on an island looking almost 360 direction, you know, and in no direction could we see the curve. And we always thought, we grew up landlocked in central Mississippi, we always thought when you got out to the beach, you would be able to see the curve out on the horizon of the ocean, and never saw it. And then anytime I've been on a plane as a kid or as a teenager or as an adult, always looked for that curve, never saw it, never could convince myself something was there that wasn't there. And this was way before I was, even considering such a thing as a flat earth. I was just wanting to see the curve that I had heard about my whole life, being a NASA fan, and I never saw it.
That's it. So now that'll be another good experiment for me to do. But it's hard here because I've got all the islands in my way. So very, very difficult to get a good wide shot of a full ocean. But that's the way I see it anyway.
This takes us back to one of our earlier quote unquote shows. Where we're talking about this Baumgartner space jump. Exactly how far it is we can see when we're up that high. So versus what's really out there. So how good our eyesight is. I mean, how far is it you think we're actually being able to see? I mean, are we actually seeing to the horizon, or are we only seeing as far as our eyes can see? No matter how high we get up, we still have that limited sight. How far can we see? Can we see further up that high because we're now out of the atmospheric gradient of density?
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. So no, it's just another experiment I can do. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Better best out your calculator. There's going to be lots of maths involved.
Right.
Yeah. Oh well. Just gonna duck off for a sec.
Well, it looks like it's just you and I, sir.
James leave too?
Yeah, he had to run take care of something. He said he sent me a little message. So
All right. Well, good. We need to get used to it anyway, shouldn't we? This is
yes,
the way it's
sir.
probably podcast.
Well, talking about this whole view distance to the horizon thing, I'm still waiting for someone to explain to me how seeing that quote unquote mirage convinces them that's a ball. That makes absolutely no sense to me.
All right. So here's what I think. What they're claiming is it's the atmospheric refraction, right? It's the mirage, and it's raising it up from below the curve of the ball. That's why you can see it.
But then they turn around and say that seeing the ship going over the horizon is proof that it's curved. I mean, you can't have it both ways. The infamous double standard.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Refraction is perfect. So it refracts it even above the horizon of the ocean. So you see the ship refracted above the ocean. From all the way from below the curve up above to where your sight can see up above that. That's how far. And that's the little mirror edge hovering point that you see, because that's how far over
the hovering point that we can recreate on a football field or on a sidewalk inches away with a camera. That's the funny part.
That one.
That's what I think I'm going to work on next. I'm going to take the drone out to a football field and have it at a very low altitude. It's got a nice hover feature, and do a video of it just disappearing into the distance like the sun and creating the air glow layer effect. I think my camera will do it if I set it up low enough with a little tripod, and that might be something to work on this week, actually. If we have weather. It's actually been kind of bad and rainy here. I don't know. And then you guys are getting snowed in, huh?
You want to load up my video, Josh?
Surely.
Show that island.
As long as you're not going to give us copyright, right?
Oh yeah, I want credit. I want at least $10 a minute. Actually, second. It's only a short video. Adam's going to join us very, very shortly.
All right, sorry about that.
That's great. I'm about to head out of here in the next 30 minutes or so myself. I have some evening plans with friends.
What you got going on?
We're we're gonna go eat and then do some little karaoke.
That'll be fun. What you want to sing?
Ah, man, sure you can put me on the spot. I don't even know. It really
Guns N'
doesn't
Roses?
matter. Everywhere I go, well, that or Journey. I mean, that's pretty much all anybody wants me to sing is Journey or Guns N' Roses. Lots of classic rock. That's my wheelhouse. But I like a lot of stuff. I'll sing something that came out last week if I like it enough and learn it quick enough.
Do you play the guitar?
I do play the guitar. That's actually my guitar on some of our intro music that has a little bit of a heavy crunch to it.
Okay.
Play guitar, play a little keyboard. My brother is an excellent pianist. He was actually working on a song and while I was there in Oregon with him, and I've yet to hear the finished product. The holidays hit, and then things kind of went that route. Holidays tend to distract quite a bit. My goodness, it was crazy here. So what do you play, Rob? Bongos?
I dabble in the guitar. I haven't played for a long time now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, just all the Radiohead songs. I loved all them.
Oh, that's great stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Played in a pub one night when I was pissed.
That's what got me started doing karaoke. Getting a little too tipsy.
Yeah, I took the guitar off the guy who was doing the gig. He went and had a break, so I went and grabbed his guitar and played a song or two while he was having a break. Just in front of all my mates. Yeah, I was pissed as a tick. Nervous, but I was nervous as.
Yeah, that's what that liquid courage is all about. That helps with the nerves.
What's going on, Josh?
It's not wanting to play for me.
Uh-oh. More technical fun.
All right.
I thought we could just get on that island and just show how mirrored it's not a mirage, it's mirrored. What do they call that? A superior mirage world, is it?
Yeah, inferior.
Inferior, where it's mirrored.
Yeah.
But you can clearly make out that the top is the same as the bottom.
Exactly. So I still don't see how that supposedly makes perfect ball at all. All right, here we go.
I think I put on here you had a B900 too, for some reason, knowing you have a B7.
See? Oh my God, it's hovering in the middle of the ocean, is it?
Yeah, that's mirror image.
It just saw that.
Is that what I heard?
Can you you aren't able to draw a line on there, you know, like you see people do, like they draw a flat line over the top of anything. You're not that advanced.
Area code 503-304-2758. No. 35.
You can hear me, Josh?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. No, just wondering if you're able to draw where no, but you can see that's mirrored, and so the center of that image is the real horizon, is the real water line. But I'd love to go out in the boat and check the height of that place out myself, but I reckon it'd be no more than 30 or 40 meters high. 40, 50 yards, I guess, if you're talking American terms. And yeah, no way you should be seeing any of that. No way in the world. I don't care how much refraction there is. The refraction's not going to mirror it like that. And I always see that island. It's not like I drive past sometimes and the island's not there. It's always there. So refraction would show the island sometimes. It would not show the island other times. It would be bigger sometimes. It'd be but that's it. That's it. 19 miles. I'd love to get out in a boat, get really, really close to it. But another experiment I'd like. But that's a cost worthy one, that one, because hiring a boat, all that sort of shit to get out there.
Even if you just hire one, do it at night and just hire one with like a spotlight on the front.
But as I said, Josh, I've said it before. I need people with me. I can't, because everyone that I know, they're not with me. So what am I doing it by myself? There's no way.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
Talking anyone into doing these things with me. There's no way in the world. I'm it. I'm doing it by myself.
All you got to do is stand on the beach with your camera.
It's working so far.
Pay the guy, drive out to the island with a spotlight, get as close as he can, shining his light directly on it. Turn around, come back, shining his light the whole way.
Drive out to the island. In what?
One of
What am I
those
driving at? What am I?
amphibian vehicles.
Hydroplane.
You can just roll right up on the beach next to you.
Yeah, no. That'd be nice. Be nice. No, I need a soldier with me. Yeah, I'll get better shots than that too. What I say in that video, I really hate that video. What I say, I really like to mute what I say because it's all wrong.
Why don't we do a voiceover? We can totally re-edit that.
Surely can.
I told him, go into a closet full of clothes.
Nah,
Break it down into
What's the
slices.
first time?
it is what it is.
I promise you,
But I really didn't think it'd turn out like that because it was dead set. I pulled up, chucked my shit out there. 5 minutes. I was literally on the beach for 5 minutes and then drove off. I didn't think it'd look like that. But no. No, so I wish I had have said some other things. But it is what it is. That's what I said.
but it doesn't have to be. You know how easy it is to take your audio out and put whatever you record in? You just send me the files that you record from your phone. Just talking to your phone in the closet. That's all you got to do. We'll put them in.
All right. No worries. But, yeah. So, James, you're back, are you? Did I hear James before? No?
I thought he was in.
Sure, I'm just
He's out of breath.
He's running.
trying to get everything set up. Yeah, I'm a little running back up to outside to rejoin. So
Maybe you should stop eating all those cupcakes.
I eat cupcakes like you for breakfast.
You eat cupcakes for breakfast?
It's pretty bad for my teeth. I know.
And if you look closely on that too, each end of that island, like if you look on the video, you can see that there's maybe 3 islands in that little section there. The ones on the ends, they might not be 10 meters high. The one on the far left, and I think there's one on the far right as well. They might not even be 10 meters high. Obviously, the one in the center is quite high, but the ones on the ends are tiny. I was checking it out on Google Earth the other night just to try and see if I could work out how actually high they were, but you didn't get anything like that, did you, Walt, in your investigations?
What do you mean?
The height of the island?
Actually, I didn't. I was trying to get to it. Like when I clicked on it, it took me to a website that apparently that's some kind of like preserve or some kind of park or something. So Because a lot of times when you click on something like that, you can get that information, like how high it is and that kind of stuff. But that one, it had a website when you click on it.
Nah, that's it.
I'm sure there's a way to find out if I had maybe Googled it further and dug a little deeper.
Mm.
I'm sure we can find it out. I can find out right now. Actually, hang on.
Yeah, no. It's probably another thing that we need to know exactly. Because if that was 120 feet high, that at its biggest point, I'd be surprised.
Rob, what was it you were asking for in terms of photo manipulation? You want me to draw lines on a photo that you've done? I can do that.
Yeah, the one that's up on the screen right now, it'd be nice to get a red line through where it's the mirror. In the middle of that image is the real edge.
Right.
Mm.
I can do that.
Because people just think that's the whole thing there, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's you're only seeing the top part of that, and it's mirroring.
Okay, I'm gonna take
just like you see the big ships. You see the big ships, and when they get out to about that 20-mile mark, they start to mirror themselves. Yeah.
I mean 19K, remember, not miles, or is it K? Well, kilometers or miles? Did we say earlier?
Oh, well, that one there is miles right there.
No, but you
Yeah, I'll have to start converting to both. I'm so American, I forget. So I'll start putting a couple of kilometers and miles when I do
30.
videos.
That's 30 Ks. That's 30 Ks out.
Okay. All right. So at about 19 to 20 miles, things start to distort regularly.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
what
maybe a
you're
bit
saying.
short on that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I reckon it'd be probably 12 or 13 miles. They start to distort. I reckon.
Okay.
Gravity.
What was that?
That was from a TV show called Archer. It's like a cartoon for adults.
Eat a dick, Gravity.
Nice. So have you heard from Savage?
I have not.
He's in the doghouse this week. We'll sick Rob on him.
You talking about John?
Yep. I love how you got that. You got your soundboard working. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, if you just get some decent sounds.
I can help with that.
Fucking asshole.
Oh, we need a new guy. Anyone know of a new guy?
You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. You need people like me. So you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bank. I always tell it to you, even when I lie.
Hello, Tony Montana.
So how cold is it there at the moment, James?
Minus 12 degrees Celsius.
Why do you live there for?
I used to live there because of the oil money. Now I live here because of Nah, the plan is to retire somewhere warm on a lake, man.
We have lakes.
I don't know. I would love to retire out where you are, man. It is gorgeous. Either Australia or somewhere like that in the US. I want something quiet, something nice.
Yeah, we don't have like Komodo dragons and things like that here that'll eat you.
Oh, the spiders, the box spiders.
Oh, the dead, right.
Box cutter jellies and shacks.
Right.
Hey,
Well,
you
some
just can't
people would
get swimming
say
in the
here
ocean
it's
here.
just as bad, right?
Let me ask you something, Rob. Is it a term out there for you guys to call it the broken coast?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why? What kind of that before?
One of the medical companies that I use for certain products was bought by AUS, which was like I can't remember the exact name, but an Australian mining company. Believe it or not, sunk into a Canadian company, a whole whack of millions. And the name was changed when they were bought. So because the new owners are Australian, I wonder if the Broken Coast is actually an Australian reference to the new owners.
No, never heard that.
Cool.
Yep.
So I heard something though about that. What was recently passed in Australia? Was there a law saying that marijuana could now be legalized for patients?
Yeah, they're trying. I think. Yeah, there is medicinal stuff. I think it's hard to get it still. As in, it's hard for the doctor to get you to that stage. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, and it'll take a while because I saw it here in Canada. There's such a bad stigma still on it that just maybe 3 years later, like it was legally allowed for medical use in about, I don't want to misquote, but early 2013, I want to say. And doctors now are just starting to be okay with talking to people and maybe, prescribing it. Whereas even when I had cancer 2 years ago almost, when I went to my family doctor here, he's like, no way, dude, no way. I won't touch it. I can't do it. The minute I do that, there's going to be 12 kids lined up. I'm like, I'm not a kid. I got freaking cancer, man. But anyways, that's how it was. And now it's changed. His stance has changed. So I take it in Australia, it'll probably be 2 years of unsurety. And then, hopefully people get some help.
How's it going, Ed?
Hey.
Good evening, gents.
Hey, Alan.
How you doing, Walt?
Hey, Adam.
I'm pretty good.
Good. I've literally just joined in, and you're chatting about cannabis by the sounds of things.
Yes, I was
Indeed.
just telling Rob because I had heard wind that they had advanced the medical marijuana program in Australia, and I've been quite involved in the Canadian one since I was diagnosed with cancer. So yeah, it's interesting.
Is that true, James? Is it they're progressing in Australia? Oh, Rob, sorry.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah. I don't keep tabs on it too much, but I don't need it. But yeah, they are moving ahead. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a state by state sort of thing. I think.
Keeps it crumbling then, doesn't it? It'll be interesting to see what happens in the UK then.
Yeah. What is the current status in the UK for medicinal?
There is no distinction.
Oh.
I think the police may be subjective in their opinion, but I don't think in the law there's any direct distinction between use for medicinal or recreational.
So can you legally get it through a doctor in the UK?
No, not at all. Even if you had a prescription from a UK doctor who's willing to write it, you wouldn't. There'd be nowhere to dispense it. And B, the supply itself in law wouldn't be legal.
Oh wow! Wow, that is tough. That would be very tough to handle, because I speak from experience. If I didn't have access to it on my chemotherapy when I was doing 8 hours a day on the bags, there's no way I wouldn't have made it without cannabis, because I couldn't sleep, I couldn't stand, I was so dizzy, I couldn't keep any food down. If I didn't have it, I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying it's not used. It's just there was a lot of stuff. I had a morning off work this morning, and my wife had some daytime TV on, and there was a story on there about a young child with severe epilepsy, and the mother basically pleading for the country to do something to change the laws so at least this child can have access to medication that she can see other children are benefiting from. And she's there describing all the time the medication they're giving to a child, which is, in comparison, horrific. And that's medically speaking. Do you know what I mean? It's the tide's changing, and I think there's a sea change in the media over here. But I think we're along. America. I don't know what Canada's like, but America's got First Amendment rights, hasn't it? That overrules drug prohibition law, but we don't have anything like that over here. So,
and we didn't either. We follow England quite frankly for a lot of our policies and government. But yeah, things are shifting, and it's funny that you talked about that story because a person that I know closely, who's a friend, had a daughter who had maybe 180 to 200 seizures, sometimes a day. And he fought and was on TV and went to the newspapers. He went everywhere and brought it right to the courts in Canada. And his case was actually a landmark case to get his little daughter some cannabis oil, the oil pills.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a seizure in 5 years now, 4 years. So,
that's madness,
and that was one of the landmarks that leveraged the Canadian market to say, okay, so hopefully that lady gets somewhere with her case, and that can open up something.
It's very interesting. You see you've got legal cases there now. There's plenty of opportunity in the UK for the police to bring a prosecution against people like this. What you don't see is any prosecution. It's similar to the euthanasia incidents. You don't see any prosecutions because they're settled discreetly outside as an agreement. And I would suggest the same's happening in the UK. I won't think for 1 minute there's not people suffering from all the multitudes of things that cannabis can treat that haven't been caught by the police. But to bring a prosecution would require them to then oppose the person's defense. And in doing so, you are then going to create some law. And I think that's what you're seeing in the UK is a reluctance to create any precedents from any case law when we're talking about, because you just don't, you'll see people prosecuted for possession, street possession, cannabis farms and the likes, but, absolutely nothing in terms of medical treatment. Nobody gets prosecuted.
Well, what's worrisome here in the States that have had medical for some years now and have now gone to recreational use, it has basically killed the medical in that state, which is Washington. And now it's beginning to seem that that's what's going to happen in Oregon, because I was there a few months back trying to help my mother get some relief because she is just nothing works for her to live, not to be able to eat, not to be able to stay pain free without, serious heavy duty addictive drugs. So I went there to try to help her out and found out that was a big concern there, that with the recreational becoming the main focus and everybody just trying to have fun, the medical starts to take the back seat. And that's definitely unfortunate because there are people who really cannot live without it.
I think there's people that currently can't live without it, and there's people that would vastly benefit from it as well. And the hypocrisy from my profession that ignores it, and from the direct general practice of medical professions that ignore it, or not so much ignore it. Everybody knows it's there in the UK, but it's not spoken about. It's not uttered. It's whether it's said and intimated indirectly. I should suggest probably does happen, not as a matter of course, but I think tides are changing, and the states, and it's great news to hear that other Commonwealth-driven countries are finding ways through it. I'm intrigued as to how Canada and Australia have got
Germany.
Well, Germany's a separate incident, but you guys, Canada and Australia,
Brazil.
the law is based on our law, isn't it? It's pretty much, a transferred version of, isn't it? Particularly laws that we adopted from the American, on behalf of the American corporations, which is most of the drug prohibitions. Because I mean, I've got old British national formularies from the early 19th century that have a lot of the tinctures of cannabis in and stuff, that I kept as novelties. They're upstairs in the loft somewhere. And do you know what I mean? That I remember collecting in the past before the resurgence. But
sorry to interrupt. Isn't that treaty up now? The worldwide, what is it? The 1977 drug law convention thing. Isn't that happening this year? Or have you heard that?
No.
Yeah, they were supposed to. That's why I mean it was a big deal for Canada and the Canadian government to get their program going, because I think it's next year that the class 1 and the worldwide classification of drugs and what the status is gets renegotiated for the next whatever period of years. So it should be interesting.
So Canada doesn't designate its own classifications of drugs.
No, it does, absolutely, and I can't remember what. It's very similar to the U.S., like Class 1, Schedule A, or Schedule B, something like that. And marijuana was always, lumped in like everybody else with cocaine and all that other stuff. And I think it was about 10 years ago, it got decriminalized. So, that meant, it stopped a lot of the petty crimes for, quarters and half-os and, don't waste your time here and there. And then it got decriminalized a little bit more. And then the medical came in. And now in 2017, we're going to be announcing legislation to recreationally legalize it in all of Canada. So I know the U.S. has it in 2 or 3 or 4 places. We're going to have it legal everywhere.
Be interesting. I mean, then it'll follow, because I mean, you've already got it. I think if you go on holiday in Portugal and the likes where I've been, it's fairly freely available in bars. Do you know what I mean? It's not legal, but its illegality is ignored.
Right.
Certainly in big port. And then obviously you've got in Holland, it's great fun.
Well, there is a new thing happening here in the States. It's pretty much become easy to get CBD oil everywhere, even in like health food stores, vape stores. You can get it for a vape pen. You can get it to ingest in capsules in a health food store. So the CBD oil, which is helpful and can help with pain and inflammation and things like that. But as you probably know, just from pharmacology, when you start breaking plants down into parts, you lose a lot of the synergy of the whole plant and what it all has, what all is there available to you.
I think that's true, and I think that's the important. If you look at places like, I forget, it's a place in Colorado. Is it the Vale of Hope or something that actually still believes in that synergy? But what they do is they grow a particular strain of plant that suits you. They don't try and follow big pharma's model, which is to take a cannabis plant, identify all the constituent components, pick one individual cannabinoid. What they do is they take a strain of plant, and that strain is the one that suits you. Now that still has just a different mixture of all the components, so differing levels of, so I think
that's even more
that approach is a
specialized.
lot more. Look, that's where we're going. I'm a pharmacist, mate, and I'm talking as if that's the way forward. Whether that's something that happens in my lifetime, but I think anybody who's realistic in what nature really gives us, and most drugs, my profession evolves from obtaining stuff from plants. That's what we did. That's what our first year is full of, along with lab work, having fun like that. Do you know what I mean? And that's where medicine comes from. And I think eventually we'll go back. It's how quick the journey, I suppose, because eventually once the tale of big pharma is unfolded, there will be a mass rejection, won't there? So
Right.
know,
Well, I guess it's part of that whole breaking it down into the constituents. It's easier to patent an element of the plant than it is to try to patent the whole plant, Again, back to the money.
Totally, you can't patent a plant, can you? God's got the patent on
Exactly.
a plant.
Monsanto might argue different.
Yeah, fair point,
Yeah,
James, yeah.
good point. Yeah.
But, yeah, fingers crossed, guys. But I mean, this is great news that we're seeing what we're seeing, isn't it?
Oh, it's a great thing. Like I said, when I was in Oregon, it was a whole different world. Just when you checked it out, the doctor that I went to with my mom, that's his whole push is to try to get it into the medical profession. Because even there, you talk to a regular MD about it, and he's like, "Oh no, we don't do that here. You got to talk to somebody else. So you have to go to a special doctor that handles it." But these are doctors. These aren't, just fly by night guys. They're trying to push legislation. They're trying to make sure things stay in the medical community and doesn't turn into just a party on the weekend thing, which is what the recreational community, of course, wants,
Oh, I'm with you, Matt. I don't believe for 1 second that the vast majority of the medical profession don't know about it. Whether they're prepared to ever acknowledge and speak about it is because you're going to get reprimanded at best.
Pressure.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, you're going to get. If it was me, if I was to stand up and say I wholeheartedly recommend the use of cannabis, I would be up for a formal reprimand and striking off. I can't say that within my profession because to do so would create problems.
It's like a lawyer saying, "You guys should just work this out yourself. Hey, settle out of court. I'm gonna go."
It's not allowed. It's not how you play the game, is it? It's not. You're not allowed to give an opinion. You're allowed to speak on behalf of the profession that you've joined, and that's part of the paradigm of control.
Well, that's
so there are lots of independent thinkers out there that think independently, but can't do so and stay within their profession. And you see the consequences if people do. It's not. You're gone, and therefore you can't act. And I think. I was reading a lot of Dr. T's stuff at the start of it, and it's very easy for people to be in indictment of us medics and claim we're. You know what I mean? I feel as guilty as the next person for the stuff that I do stick a label on and give out. I don't agree with it. I give my honest opinion as best I can, and that gets me into trouble sometimes. But.
Right.
It's.
I have a close family member who recently started working in a pharmacy just as a clerk, and she's having a lot of trouble with passing that stuff across the counter to some old people that are already sickly and, in poor health, and knowing this is definitely not helping them in any way. And then not too long ago, they all got brand new T-shirts of pushing, the flu shot and free here and all this kind of stuff. So she's really having a rough time with it.
So there's a good example as independent as you can be. So flu shots is something that UK pharmacies now do. It's not something that I do or do through, I refuse to do it. It's not. If I'm giving a prescription to dispense it for the patient to take to the doctor to give them, I'll do so because I have to. Yeah. Do I, as a separate commercial revenue stream, go out there to people and say, I'll give you a flu shot? No. If they ask, do I do it? I'll say no, and I will then happily explain to them why I don't do it.
Awesome. That's
then that's the best. That's the best you can do within the system, as far as I can see. If there was more I could do and stay within the system, then I think I would, and I'm happy to take comment on that. Do you know what I mean? And stuff. But it's the same with statins. If I've got statins, I'll advise people exactly what it's for, when it'll benefit them. You get a 70-year-old bloke who's just been given a statin. I'll tell him that'll do you the world of good when you're 83. Might get you stiff bones next week, stiff muscles next week. But do you know what I mean? And that's the best you can do within the confines of not stepping out of the system. And then if I'm out of the system, who's going to inform them as well as I do? That's the way I see it. And
That's it. Break them down from within.
well, maybe
No, I'm being
not that
silly.
much.
I'm being silly, man. I know what you mean.
Maybe it's
I know
more
what you
just
mean.
justifying my cowardice, maybe. But it's that's kind of how I see it. I can't wait for Dr. T to get on here. I want to have a good chat with her about her
Absolutely.
dissertation, and I look forward to that. So, anyway, I've rambled. I digress. I'm sorry.
Well, I appreciate your bravery for even speaking out to that level here on our show. Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully there was nothing too litigious there. I was fairly careful. We'll find out. I'll wait for the post.
I'll say this, Adam, in terms of the system. This is difficult to say, but it's my real life, so it's fine. So they want to put me on weekly injections into my groin area. They also want to put me on this stuff called gabapentin.
Sorry, gabapentin, is that for the pain, yeah?
Yeah, that's what they want to put me on. And I've talked to many, many people and friends, and this lady that's been on it for 14 years, and she says, no, you become a zombie. I don't like it. And anyway, so...
Okay, so gabapentin initially started out as an anti-epileptic drug. Okay, and what they found was it wasn't... And this is how a lot of drugs, this is how Champix, as you'll hear, the anti-smoking drug started as an antidepressant, and nobody got happier. They just stopped smoking, they realised. So they marketed it as an anti-smoking drug. But gabapentin's another example in that what they marketed was an anti-epileptic drug. It was out there, and they realised that although people weren't really reducing the seizure rate by any significant amount to warrant it as a drug for treatment of seizures, lots of people that also had pain meds were reporting massive reductions in their pain medication. So that's how your wonder drug gabapentin. So, make your own medical advice. Is that the way you want to? The way anti-epileptics work is they dumb down the central nervous system. So they slow everything down. They stop neurons being overexcited and going into seizure.
Right.
So is that the way you want to control your pain? If you've got alternatives,
no. But here's the problem.
No.
Here's my dilemma, and this is what I wanted to get at in terms of systems and processes, and So, because I'm on a program because I'm unable to work, I have to. They're going to force me to take those things. I don't get an option. If I don't, they cut me off. That's the situation I face here with my laws and the way it is. So if you're on disability or sick benefits, everything that they suggest to me, whether it's the needles, whether it's this, whether it's that, I have to legally take it. I can refuse it, but then they will cut me off.
Right. So
and that's the problem.
Are the
it's
ways?
A big problem. Because I know what works for me. Like I have what works, and it goes specifically back to what you were saying, the specific terpenes and like different strain characteristics. Like for me, I have a strain in the morning, SLH, super lemon haze. It actually reduces the swelling and inflammation, and gives me energy. To do two hours worth of work. It took me 10, 15 strains to find it. But I also have a nighttime one that helps with the pain in my groin. So I don't want their drugs. I want what works for me. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think that's kind of benefit cheat status. You pretend you're taking them and then. Sorry guys, terrible feedback.
Yeah, Josh presenting.
Yeah. Better.
All right, that should fix it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of those situations, isn't it, where the system is going to make you sicker than you actually are.
I don't want to play the games though. Like I'm working with a charity agency, and this is what they said, which is great. And I've also thought about it. get the prescriptions, go to the doctor, get them, fill them out, put them away. After 30 days, say they're not working. For the injections, she's like, why don't you just say, I don't have a vehicle anymore? And the injections are 40 minutes away in a town that I can't get to. Do you have some in town? And then they'll say no. Well, can we look at an alternative method? Like, there's ways around it, but why should I have to cheat and fight that way? It's just not fair.
No, I'm with you, bro. But I think reality is that you either step out the system or you fuddle its bullshit, don't you, in a way? It's...
I wouldn't even have to worry about it if I could afford the right meds.
I wouldn't necessarily say
them.
even... I'd pretend I was taking them if it was me. Couldn't recommend that, but I'd pick the prescription up every month. I mean, I'll give you a good example. There's a lot of issues in the UK because all medicines are free, yeah? And there's a lot of issues around medicine wastage, yeah? And I know lots of old people that, when they pass away and you go to the house and or you just go and you see them and they'll talk to the pharmacist differently than they will to the doctor. And I'm there and there's this lady and she had a bag and they're biphosphonates, so they use for old people for brittle bones to build up their bones and stuff. And she read the leaflet and never liked it. And she had 5.5 years worth of medication there. But what are they there for? She says, well, if the doctor gets upset if I don't order them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So she just thought, sod this, because I'll just order them every month like he wants, and then he won't bother me.
Well, that's what they said too, because drugs are free here too. I mean, it's all covered. It's all covered, but they get paid. It is free. It is free.
You couldn't recommend that ever, but it's a true tale. She died an old lady. She didn't.
Either way, it's just another control piece, right? They want everybody in their place and controlled and under the plan.
Well, I think the point is it's fight where you can fight and win a fight. There's no point having a fight. Yeah, I got a parking ticket. I tried to fight it for ages and ages. You know what I mean? And unless I'm prepared to actually go to court and risk them clamping my car and trying to get it back, there's certain fights that aren't worth fighting. You can't win and you expend your energies. They're like that. If you put your energies in...
We have a guy here who can tell you a lot about how to fight that fight. Josh.
Is he there?
Uh-oh, he may not be handy.
I don't want to talk.
No, you gotta talk. I
want to make sure that my shit's not going to make everybody echo and get feedback and everything.
That's true. You're having trouble.
Well, I tried to unmute earlier, and then I was immediately muted. So
Yeah,
I thought it was still
it started back. Feedback as it is now. It's echoing.
Yeah,
it's echoing.
I don't know. I haven't changed anything. There's no reason it should be.
It's Google. Oh, Google.
Oh, fucking Google.
We've been saying too many of those phrases.
Something. Well, I'm going to have to go eat soon anyway, so.
Well, I was about to say I have to ring off too, but I hate to do it in a pickup.
Me as well. I have to,
because I start talking I can't make sense. You're heading out too, James?
I'll mute you guys. You guys say your goodbyes. I'll run the outro. keep the room open, and we'll keep talking after I go offline. After we go off live.
Yeah, I'll be back live. I'll be back live later. I mean, we can come for the show.
Okay.
We all signing out, are we?
Well, I have to go. It's my birthday weekend and plans.
Happy birthday, dude!
Thank you.
How old? I heard earlier you like super age. I didn't believe it.
Yeah, I'll be 50 tomorrow.
That's all right. I heard a 74 and I thought, Jesus, he looks good for 74. Well,
oh, yeah.
There must be some tips.
Yeah, just live right, I guess. Stay flat.
Oh, you look terrible for 50, mate, but 74 you look fine.
Fuck off.
Yeah, sorry.
That was a good one. Good one.
Sorry, I couldn't help
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna
I
have
couldn't help
that was awesome. We're gonna have I'm gonna be live streaming some karaoke just for you guys later.
that. I look forward to that. I look forward to it. I don't know. I'm still free if anybody's if everybody's hanging around.
And
but-
I may pop back on if I can
Um,
after festivities. But guys, I appreciate it.
I have some other questions for you, Adam, but I'll DM you. Sorry, Walt.
No, go ahead.
I just did.
And then Josh is going to play a little kind of a little promo for some upcoming Have No Sphere things that we're going to be doing. It looks like we're all getting kicked off whether we wanted to leave or not. My goodness. Well, goodbye, everybody. And on that note, my goodness. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys trying to
I'm
get back
back.
in again. Yeah. Said we're
I'm
leaving
back.
whether we want to or not.
Well, Rob left and it kicked me out as well. I don't
It
know what
kicked
happened.
everyone. Yeah, it kicked everyone except me, and I think Josh was still here.
But well, anyway, happy birthday, bro, and have a good
Thank you,
one.
sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. All right, guys. I'll take care. Y'all take care.
Y'all take care.
All right, see you, Walt. Happy birthday.
All right. Thanks,
All
man.
right, thanks, man.
All right, then, gents. I'm just going to play this out. We'll get the hell out of here. I'll leave the room open. We'll still chit chat. I'm just going to have to go get a bite to eat first. But yeah, I'll just leave the room open. I'm just going to go offline.
No worries, Josh.
No worries,
What we
Josh.
getting?
What we getting?
We've just been busy. Not doing shows. We've been busy playing around on the computer.
Oh.
So we'll get it eventually.